So this might look like another little robot lawnmower, but this one's almost silent. It's got tracks instead of wheels, and it actually climbed a steep hill, mowed under trees, and even pulled a trailer with my kids in it. It's called the Yarbo, and it's built for way more than your typical flat suburban lawn. I wanted to see if it could really handle a big, uneven yard without getting stuck, and honestly, it kind of surprised me. Unlike most robot mowers you see online that are basically made for tiny city lots, the Yarbo's got an actual tank-size track system that gives it way more traction on hills, soft grounds, or anywhere that make a typical mower just spin in place. It also has a way bigger battery, so it can keep cutting for hours instead of running back to charge every 30 minutes. And this one, the battery lasts about 3.5 hours of continuous mowing. And that's exactly why I brought it out here. This is a much bigger yard than your average backyard, with a pretty steep hill on the side of the garage and a section under some apple trees where the ground's all sort of covered in roots and fallen fruits. Not the kind of place you'd think a robot mower could handle. First up, I sent the Yarbo right at the hill. Honestly, with a push mower, you're already slipping trying to go across it. I expected the Yarbo to at least hesitate or start spinning out, but with these tracks, it just crawled up like it was nothing. That's really the big difference. Those tracks gives it serious bite that normal lawn wheels, little mower wheels, wouldn't be able to handle. Then I let it work its way under the apple trees. That area is usually quite a little mess with down fruits, low branches, soft grounds, lumpy spots, random debris, and yeah, it actually did get stuck a couple of times where the ground was really uneven, but that was mostly because my parents like to keep their lawn cut super short, basically begging for a sunburn. So the blade plates were set really low. When I raised the cutting height up to something more reasonable, like around 4 inches like I normally run mine, the Yarbo had no problem at all. And honestly, if you're dead set on keeping the blades low, you can just mark those rough areas as no-go zone in the app so it avoids them altogether. No need to bring in a load of soil or level the yard. It's a super easy workaround. And because I was way too curious, I decided to hook up a trailer to it, and not one of those little garden carts you usually see Yarbo demonstrating with cinder blocks. I used a much larger trailer. Yarbo is built for towing. The included hitch is rated at 500 pounds for lawn tools, and the system supports rolling weight for a staggering 3,500 pounds, but I wanted to test it in real life. That loaded trailer alone weighs a few hundred pounds over 500.
Okay, it's because I was clean. Alright boys, you want to go in it?
Then I added my 2 boys on top.
Hopefully I don't crash. Just make sure I don't crash. Go out. You go there?
Yeah, there's no nails at least. All the nails have been taken out.
It's just moving, but yeah, step right on the wheel. No problem.
I'm gonna see.
Yeah, guys, sit down a bit.
Sit. This is a good transportation. Ah.
I half expected the mower to pause, throw an overload error, or strain its tracks, but instead it gradually pulled forward and rolled across our paved driveway without breaking a stride. This isn't your typical lawnmower test. The Yarbo isn't meant to be a truck, of course, but this real-world demo shows just how much torque and traction it has. If it can handle that much rolling weight even on pavement, it'll power through thick grass, gentle slopes, and uneven yard sections without faltering. And that's the real breakthrough here. Those robust tracks aren't just for show. They're part of a drivetrain that can tow heavy loads and even snowblow in the winter. Now, one of the coolest things, especially for a channel like mine that's all about making things quieter, is just how much less noise this makes compared to a typical mower. A gas mower is quite brutal. You can hear it echoing across the entire neighborhood, even inside your house with the windows closed. And honestly, even most electric push lawnmowers are pretty loud. The Yarbo isn't silent. You'll hear a bit of whine from the electric motors and tracks as it moves, especially when it's turning, but it's so much quieter overall that it almost doesn't feel like there's yard work going on at all. You can literally stand right next to it and carry on a normal conversation without raising your voice and actually enjoy being around while it's running. And if you want, you can even schedule it to mow at night. It's not going to keep your family up or get the neighbors peeked out their windows annoyed that someone's cutting the grass at 9 p.m. It's more like a faint electric hum rolling around your yard under the lights, keeping everything neat while the neighborhood stays calm. For me, that's honestly one of the biggest perks. Beyond that, the Yarbo has some pretty impressive tech. That makes it way smarter than your average mower. It doesn't rely on a boundary wire buried all around your yard. Instead, it uses an RTK GPS system along with onboard cameras and sensors to map out your property. That means it can plan an efficient straight line path across a yard instead of just wandering randomly and wasting battery going over the same spots twice. It also has obstacle detection with cameras, ultrasonic sensors, and bump sensors to avoid trees, toys, or anything else left out. Plus, it can detect rain, slopes, and even how much it's tilted, so it automatically adjusts how it mows if the ground changes under it. Overall, it cuts in a clean, logical pattern that actually makes sense for a big lawn, not a random zigzag that needs 3 passes to get through it all. Maintenance is super simple. You're gonna want to clean the deck every now and then and eventually either sharpen or swap out the blades. That's really about it. No oil changes, no gas cans sitting in the shed, no messing with stabilizers in the off season. It's also built to live outside, so if it starts drizzling or the grass is still a little damp in the morning, it's not a big deal. You're not dragging it back and forth into the garage every time the weather shifts. Bottom line, this is the first robotic mower I've actually tried that I trust on a bigger, less than perfect yard. If you've got a small, flat city lawn, the Yarbo will obviously handle that without any drama. But where it really stands out is on a larger property with slopes, softer grounds, or those weird awkward corners that would normally take you half the afternoon to mow by hand. I'll have links in the description below for you to get one for yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, assuming you're subscribed.
Ok Alex, assis-toi.